I always say there is never a bad time for a burger. It's always burger time. But in this video, I'm going to show you something extra special. My friends over at Kvarøy Arctic Salmon sent me some delicious salmon burgers, and we're going to take it to the next level with some caramelized onion and pear. I'm going to stop talking now, and we're going to start cooking. So let me show you how to do it. I've been preheating my griddle on low, medium, low. Let's pull it up to high. We do want some sear, some stun. I'm gonna get started on my white onion. Now this part is key. So we talk a lot on this show about balancing your flavors, having a really good harmony of flavors going on. So we're gonna be pairing our sweets and savories, and a lot of our sweet is gonna come from the onions and the pears. So we're gonna give that a nice small dice. Now let's get to our pears. I like to cut them in half and then in half again so I get access to those seeds. We're just gonna cut them out just like that, really simple. Now we don't need a ton. Let's say half a pear is good for, let's say 2 burgers. So we're gonna slice those thin, and again, just like our onions, do a nice small dice. Now the onions and the pears do cook at different times. That little piece, no, that's for me. I do wanna get my onions going first. So let me grab my oil. Now that our griddles come up to temperature, we're gonna add a good bit of oil and take our onions right down in the oil. Now you've heard me say it lots of times, there is a ton of sweetness in onions, and that's what we want to access here. The pears are just going to act like a natural enhancer of that flavor. Let those go for a minute or so, then we'll add our pears. Now while that's cooking, let's talk about pickles, because every good burger needs a bit of acidity. Acidity is kind of the way to balance out your flavors to make everything else kind of lift. It's like a brightness. So I'm gonna take a cucumber, and we're gonna go really, really thin slices. If you have a mandolin, you can do that. Otherwise, very smooth, thin slices. The thinner, the better. It's gonna help us with our quick pickle, because we're only doing this in about 5 minutes or so. So as paper thin as possible is what you're looking for. That looks beautiful. Now let's also do a little bit of red onion. I want the red onion for that crunch, that bite, but also the color. Oh yeah, just like that. What we're looking for is this beautiful, thin, stunning little onion. It's gonna give us that crunch, that bite. Let's check on our onions. They sound like they're doing well. That is exactly where I want to be. A touch of caramelization, but not too much. That's looking really good. Now I'm going to slide this over to the cooler side of my griddle. I don't want them to cook too far. And I'm going to add my pears right on top. Now we don't want to mix this in yet. We just want to let those pears start to heat up. I'm also going to add just a touch of sugar. This is going to bring out more of that rich sweetness. All right, now let's finish our quick pickle. Now it's not a true authentic pickle because it is quick. Pickling usually takes a lot longer, but I'm gonna throw all of these beautiful cucumbers and onions right into a big bowl. Now this is a really fun one. I mean, this part is really versatile. You can do any flavors that you like. I'm gonna go with some simple white vinegar, a little bit of sugar, some salt and some pepper, and also just a little bit of garlic powder. Maybe a touch of oil, toss that together and let it sit for the rest of the cook and you're done. A good pickle is always a bonus. A little bright, that little punch of acidity. Let's get our fish on. So I mentioned before, you guys can find Kvarøy Arctic online. They're fantastic and these are really, really fun. If you like salmon and you've never had a salmon burger, what are you doing? What are you even doing? So we're gonna open this up. This is a 2-pack. So let's open her up. And what we've got here are 2 gorgeous, beautiful, sustainable aquaculture Kvarøy Arctic Salmon burgers. They're fantastic. Now these only take a minute or 2. We want to get a little bit of crust, a little bit of sear, enhance some of that wonderful flavor. So let's throw a little bit of oil down over here, and we have some of that leftover flavor from our onions. So that's actually going to add another level, another layer of flavor. Let's toss these right down in the oil. Beauty. Stunning. I love it. Let's get to our sauce real quick. This is very, very simple. A good mayo-based sauce, something that's really rich is what I'm looking for here. So let's take a bit of Duke's right down into our bowl. We're gonna do equal part Duke's and sour cream. We're also gonna add a bit of minced, really finely minced chives, a pinch of salt and pepper, and just a bit of garlic powder. All of these flavors together are gonna give us a really savory, rich flavor, like a creamy texture on our burger. Now, if you wanted, you could add just a bit of brightness from a bit of lemon. Lemon juice is really, really versatile. If you only add a little bit, you don't quite taste that it's lemon, but you taste that that brightness, that lift is there. So just a little bit of lemon goes a long way. And it thins your sauce out a little bit, makes it a bit more spreadable. So just a little squeeze of lemon, and our sauce is done. Let's check on our salmon and give those a flip. Oh, those are looking fantastic. Those need about 60 more seconds and we're almost there. We can, if you want, we can toast our buns. Today I'm using some Martin's potato rolls. I think a soft bun is where it's at. So let's go ahead and toss both buns on there, give them a nice light toast. Now the last little thing I want to add is a bit of brie. Now brie is fantastic. Slice it very, very thin and put it right over the top of our fish and let that start to melt just a bit. We don't want to melt completely. We still want a bit of body to that cheese, but my friends, buns are toasted. Fish is done. Sauce is done. Pickles are done. I think it's time to eat. Our pears and our onions look phenomenal. Give them a little toss. Some of that sugar is going to mix in now, creating that sweet caramel. Again, we don't want to cook the pears too far, so that to me looks perfect. Let's grab our buns and come over to our cutting board. Lovely, lightly toasted bun. Makes everyone happy. All right, let's start with a bit of sauce on our bottom buns. Having everything done like this is nice because then you can just cruise and build your gorgeous burger. A little bit of sauce on the bottom. Now we're using some arugula. I love the peppery nature of arugula. It's got a beautiful color too. Nice little stack of arugula on the bottom. Stunning. All right, let's grab our burgers. You can see that brie is just lightly melted. That's stunning. I'm gonna grab some of these peppers, look at me, pears and onions, and go right over the top, kind of let it fall where it falls. This will help melt the rest of that cheese. Oh yeah, stunning. Oh yeah. This is one of those steps you can absolutely skip, but it adds a dynamic richness to the dish. Now let's add a few of our pickles, both the cucumbers and the onions. Oh yeah, and if you like pickles, add a few extra. Man, this is coming together so nice. All right, little sauce on the top bun, and we are finished. Let's crown this little angel and take a bite. You know, it's one of those things when you play with your food, you pay attention to your time, you pair your ingredients, have a well-balanced dish. What you end up with is something far nicer than what you would have had. So it's like the best of both worlds. You get to play with your food, have fun, but also kind of learn as you go. Let's get into this. We'll leave that pretty one on the plate, but this one's coming home. Here we go. Whoa, so good. That fish is phenomenal. All these flavors are fairly delicate, but they're so well balanced. We have this sweetness, this savor. We have a bit of that vinegar, that punch of brightness from the pickles. Pickles are so, so good. And that peppery punch from the arugula, so good. You gotta make these.